Okay, so I went from that up there to this. Welcome to my new office. Got a new hat. Start a new thing, got a new hat. So I handed in my resignation at the global law firm last month, leaving as a senior manager of business development that came with a nice 6-figure salary, great benefits, amazing office location, and great people. Why the would I leave such a great job? I made tremendous progress over the course of 4 years at a very large firm and in a very traditional industry. I broke through barriers, built great relationships with the lawyers and the staff at the firm, but I was ultimately not truly fulfilled and at times not happy, to the point of near depression on some days. To understand how I got to this point, we need to go on a short trip down memory lane. So this isn't exactly the room that I started in, but this is my parents' basement. This is where I set up my first business. Back in the mid-90s, a friend and I started a web design company called Web Group. And I still remember our first client. It was a nice lady from somewhere in the US that had a website to share her baking recipes. We didn't have a way to receive electronic payment. Of course, PayPal didn't quite exist yet back then. So we actually went to the local Western Union and she wired money over. I went over to the local Safeway and picked it up. Check this out. Oh, this is our yearbook. This is one of the yearbooks. So during this time, not only did I become interested in entrepreneurship, I also became interested in the film industry. Filmmaking, directing, editing, everything about film intrigued me. Through a family contact, I got a volunteer gig at a local community broadcast group and began learning the hands-on technical expertise of camera setup, filming, directing, and broadcast distribution. You know, unfortunately, the computer business and filmmaking adventure came to a grinding halt when high school is done. You see, I grew up in a first-generation Asian immigrant family household. When it comes to traditional Asian households, there are only a few acceptable career choices: doctor, dentist, lawyer, accountant, and engineer. I'm probably missing one or two, but that's pretty much it. But I get it, especially when I reflect upon where my parents grew up and the cultural norms in Asia, especially how competitive Asian society is. If you don't compete, you're left behind. Sprinkle with passion, just add vision. It was always a struggle for me to balance what my parents stressed was the absolute necessity in a career and what Western education stressed as important: creativity, doing what makes you happy, finding your passion. On one hand, I was taught that the focus should be on doing what brings a stable paycheck because the world revolves around money. And frankly, that's not entirely wrong, but it's not the entire picture of what makes a happy life. So here we are, after years of working through different jobs, from teaching to private equity to starting my own business, and over the last 4 years working in a corporate job at a large firm. Something still wasn't quite right, but reflecting on every job I had and things that I'm passionate about, there were aspects of each job that I loved and aspects that I didn't. So how did I land on leaving this corporate job and diving back into entrepreneurship again? One word: Ikigai. a Japanese concept that gives a person a sense of purpose and a reason for living. We in the West have adopted this concept into a strategy that helps people figure out the balance between work that we can make a living from and the work that we enjoy. This is how it works. This top circle, this represents what you love doing. This next circle represents what the world needs. This circle represents what you can get paid to do. This circle represents things that you are good at. So when you take a look at this circle, these four circles together in a Venn diagram, you have this center here, which is what we ultimately want to strive for, because that's the merging of everything together to find the perfect balance in between of these things that apply to your life. So here's how I applied Ikigai. In this top circle, I began making a list of everything that brings me joy in life, forgetting about whether I'm good at it or not. So things like making films, hiking, reading, writing. And so, the list kind of went on and on, was a little bit more specific. Now this second circle, I started making a list of what the world needs. Now this doesn't necessarily mean the entire world. It could mean your community, your town, your province, city. So things like, clean water, renewable energy, these are things the world needs. But also relevant to me was to ensure that entrepreneurs had better access to, business services or better access to capital. I noted that the world needs more experts, people with expertise to help entrepreneurs and professionals through their ventures, because sometimes these entrepreneurs are doing some amazing things. They just need a little bit of expertise to help them on the way. Now this third circle is what you are paid for. This refers to the world and society at large, and that involves what someone else is willing to pay you for. In my situation, there's a strong market for things like business development, sales. There's a big market for people who can bring new revenues to organizations. So another that landed in this circle included digital film production. Since, the global pandemic hit, a lot of people shifted to online. So there's been a recent surge amongst professionals and B2B organizations to really increase the production of digital content. So that's what society is willing to pay for. Now the last circle here are things that I myself personally am good at. Now this included personal things like being empathetic or having empathy, interpersonal skills, and also things like sales, marketing, public speaking. Now when I put all these four things together, I gained a lot of clarity on how I needed to move forward. And that's when I launched Convos Media, a digital content strategy and production agency to help B2B professionals and entrepreneurs leverage digital content to build their business. So as you can see, that description of Convos Media is literally how all these parts came together, and it provided that clarity of exactly what I wanted to do moving forward. Now, one very helpful resource I found for Ikigai is from positivepsychology.com. I've put their link in the description. I'm not affiliated with them, but I highly recommend you check them out, as they have a lot of free comprehensive resources that help me through mapping out Ikigai. So yeah, I have to say that I haven't had this amount of clarity in my life as I do now. It's been a combination of many things, from my diverse range of work experience to starting my own business, having another business fail, to following a few online influencers such as Christo and Gary Vee, and of course, mapping everything on paper through this Ikigai exercise. So that's it. Hopefully there's something in this video that can help you with your journey to finding your Ikigai, and don't be afraid to take action to get to where you are to be truly fulfilled in life. If this video helps you, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button, as every little bit helps. Thanks for watching.